Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Clinical Reasoning Series, case number 4. Today we have an interesting case which we're going to discuss. Before I start the discussion, please note that this discussion is only for academic purposes and it cannot be related directly to the patient care. So this is the brief clinical scenario. You have a 40-year-old male who is presenting with polyuria, pain abdomen, nausea, vomiting and altered sensorium. He is a diagnosed case of bronchogenic carcinoma. In this particular question, straight away you get the lead here. What is the lead here? He is a case of bronchogenic carcinoma, 40-year-old male patient. And you look at the symptom, polyuria, pain abdomen, nausea, vomiting and altered sensorium. Can you explain by bronchogenic carcinoma itself? It is not directly related to any of the lung manifestations which you expect in bronchogenic carcinoma. So what it could be? It could be due to metastasis, is it not? It could be due to metastasis. That is one possibility. Let us keep that in mind and let us look at the question. The question is, what is the likely explanation for this finding? Excess production of vitamin D, excess calcium loss, excess production of parathyroid related peptide, increased catabolism of parathyroid hormone. So you can see that the examiner is trying to put you to a different possibility. He is not asking about metastasis. If it is about metastasis, it would have been something which is very direct, like for example lytic lesion of the bone, something like that he might have given, okay, or he might have given some other clues for metastasis, okay, but this is not metastasis. It is something else which is related to the tumor, but it's not directly an effect of tumor. What do you call this type of manifestations as? I think some of you might have guessed this. What is this called as? This is not called as metastasis. Then what is this called as? This is what we call it as paraneoplastic syndromes. Paraneoplastic syndrome. So what I would want you to remember is paraneoplastic syndrome refers to the features, okay, refers to features that cannot be explained. That cannot be explained either by local invasion of the tumor, cannot be explained by local invasion of the tumor. For instance, in this case, it cannot be explained by local invasion of bronchogenic carcinoma. It cannot also be explained by metastatic spread of the tumor. Metastatic spread of the tumor. And third thing I would want you to remember is, it cannot be explained by hormones which are actually produced by the tumor. Okay, it cannot be explained by the hormones which are actually produced from the tumor. So if all these criteria are met, then this is called as paraneoplastic syndrome. To substantiate my diagnosis of paraneoplastic syndrome, let me go back to the question again. You can see the findings here: polyuria, pain abdomen, nausea, vomiting, altered sensorium, which cannot be explained by just metastasis alone. Okay, this is involving so many systems. For example, polyuria, renal system, abdomen, GI system, altered sensorium, something related to the CNS. So it cannot be just only by explained by metastasis or by hormones produced by the tumor. That is why I was telling that this is a different entity altogether, which is called as paraneoplastic syndrome. Again, see the question. What is the likely explanation for this finding? The question was about bronchogenic carcinoma. The question was about bronchogenic carcinoma. So what is the paraneoplastic syndrome which can be associated with bronchogenic carcinoma? Any idea? Before I tell you the answer, tell me what are due to. See here, polyuria, pain abdomen, nausea, vomiting and altered sensorium. Can anybody tell me what is these manifestations due to? Which abnormality? This is due to hypercalcemia. This is due to hypercalcemia. Make a note of it. Very, very important point. The manifestations of hypercalcemia are what we classically read as stones, bones, abdominal groans, thrones and psychiatric overtone. Stones actually related to the renal stones or nephrocalcinosis, which you notice in these patients. Second is bones. It refers to the bone pain which occurs in patients with hypercalcemia. They can also have pathological fractures also of the bone. Make a note of it. Next is abdominal groans. Abdominal groans refers to the pain originating from the abdomen. This pain could be probably due to some peptic ulceration, which is a very common association with hypercalcemia, peptic ulcers. Okay, and thrones refers to the polyuria and constipation which are noted in this condition. Polyuria and constipation refer to the thrones. Psychiatric overtones refers to the CNS manifestations of hypercalcemia, which is a wide group actually. The patient can have depression, the patient can have psychiatric manifestations, the patients also can have altered sensorium, just like what was presenting in this particular case. So this is what we classically refer to as hypercalcemia. Okay, right. Now, if I ask you what are all the broad conditions associated with hypercalcemia, remember the most common condition causing hypercalcemia is primary hyperparathyroidism. Most common condition is primary hyperparathyroidism. Second is hypercalcemia associated with malignancy. This is belonging to the group of paraneoplastic syndrome. Can anybody tell me which malignancy is classically associated with hypercalcemia? It is one of the type of lung cancers. Any answers? Yes, it is squamous cell carcinoma. Make a note of it. It is squamous cell carcinoma. Classically, remember, squamous cell carcinoma is associated with production of parathyroid hormone related peptide. You know that parathyroid hormone is going to cause elevation of calcium. So excess secretion of this PTH related peptide is also going to cause hypercalcemia. Classical example which you need to remember. The third condition associated with this hypercalcemia which you need to know for your exams is granulomas. The two classical conditions with granulomas and hypercalcemia which you need to know for your exams are: number one is sarcoidosis. Number two is tuberculosis. Why this granuloma is going to cause hypercalcemia? Because granulomas, especially that neutrophils in the granulomas, they have this 25 hydroxylation activity inside them. Okay, you all know that 25 hydroxylation activity will result in the generation of 125 dihydroxycholecalciferol, which is nothing but vitamin D. So basically, remember, granuloma produces lot of vitamin D inside the body. So lot of vitamin D means lot of calcium absorption and therefore hypercalcemia. So please don't forget three important things. One is most common is hyperparathyroidism causing hypercalcemia. Second is paraneoplastic manifestation causing hypercalcemia. Third is granulomas causing hypercalcemia. Coming back to the question, what is the likely explanation for these findings? It is nothing other than excess production of PTH related peptide, and that is the answer for this question. Now just some examples of paraneoplastic syndromes which you need to remember for your exams. Please note that most of the paraneoplastic syndromes have endocrine manifestation. This is what I would want you to remember for the exams. Okay, if you do not recognize the paraneoplastic syndromes, you may be thinking about some alternative diagnosis, or you may think in terms of metastasis, and it can altogether confound the treatment. So that is why always a medical person should be aware of paraneoplastic manifestations of certain carcinomas, and most common is endocrine manifestation, and it is commonly observed in lung cancers. Right, you all know that two varieties actually: small cell carcinoma of the lung and non-small cell carcinoma of the lung. Okay, right. And small cell carcinoma of the lung is typically associated with a lot of paraneoplastic manifestation. Two most important is due to, one is due to release of ACTH, second is due to release of ADH. If there is lot of ACTH released, okay, it is going to result in Cushing syndrome. Right. And if there is lot of ADH produced, it is going to result in SIADH. Third one is squamous cell carcinoma is the case which we were discussing. It is going to release lot of PTH related peptide, and that is going to be associated with hypercalcemia. Are you able to follow this? So please make a note of it. One more I would want you to remember is a common paraneoplastic manifestation is polycythemia, which is associated with two important carcinomas. Can anybody tell me what are the two important carcinomas associated with polycythemia as paraneoplastic syndrome? One is renal carcinoma, second is hepatocellular carcinoma. These are also asked so many times in your exam, so you need to make a note of it. Right. Now one more thing I would want you to remember is that This paraneoplastic syndromes are notorious to be noted not only because they can confound the treatment, sometimes they could even be the initial manifestation of the carcinoma itself. Can anybody give me some examples of this? Can anybody give me some example that paraneoplastic syndrome could occur as a first manifestation or first complaint in a carcinoma itself? It is typically observed in cases of neuroblastoma, where the tumor itself may be silent, but because of the paraneoplastic manifestation, the child comes to clinical attention. Can anybody tell me what are the paraneoplastic manifestations associated with neuroblastoma? Two important things. One is opsoclonus myoclonus ataxia, where the child will have uncontrolled eye movements as well as uncontrolled movements in the hands and the legs. That's called opsoclonus myoclonus ataxia. Number two is called as the Horner's syndrome, which I think most of you must be knowing, which is associated with the classical features of ptosis, anhidrosis and meiosis. Are you able to follow this? So that is about this paraneoplastic manifestations, paraneoplastic syndromes. That is the end of today's discussion. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hope you have liked this video. Please comment if you have any doubts. Feel free to share with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you will get the notification as and when the videos are posted. Thanks for watching again.